As Jordan Taylor sits on the grid for the annual Watkins Glen 6-hour, his team, Corvette Racing, are coming off a historic win at the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the GTE category. But despite all the success the C8.R has achieved in the GTE class, it has really struggled ever since IMSA transitioned from GTE-based machinery to GT3-based machinery in its pro category. But as they line up to take the green flag, Jordan Taylor and his Corvette Racing team know that execution often beats speed. So if he and his team execute a perfect race, they still have a chance of a win, if not a podium, in this GTD Pro class. And as the green flag flies, Jordan Taylor is hard on the throttle as the field heads into the tight 90-degree turn 1. The WeatherTech Mercedes is going to brake late around the outside of those two GTD cars, and Jordan Taylor is going to hold position as he gets hard on the throttle using all of the curb on the exit. There's a BMW that's stopped on the right-hand side, having crashed going through turn 1, and Dorian Pin is defending through the uphill S's on the number 1 Paul Miller Racing BMW. And although these two cars in front are not for class position, Jordan Taylor still wants to get past so he can catch up to that white Mercedes. He's going to look to the outside of the number 1 BMW, but just doesn't want to risk it this early on in the race. And as the field snakes through the outer loop, we can look to the right-hand side and see these two yellow flags. That means we are under full course caution, and that was really the story of the first hour of this race. Although there was hard racing and hard battling, there was never really any rhythm to the racing because there were so many cautions and so much yellow flag. Despite being a bit slow for the fans, these cautions are a great chance for the teams to make a pit stop without losing very much time. That's exactly what they do here during this full course yellow. The 3 Corvette is going to follow the 79 Mercedes into the pit lane. He's going to pull up to the pit box, hit his marks, and the crew jumps over the wall and bolts on a fresh set of slick tires. Jordan Taylor's going to pull away, maintaining his 4th position in class. But if we jump back aboard the 23 Heart of Racing car, we can see that as Jordan Taylor left, the crew forgot his left rear tire. The 23 car drop kicks it down the pit lane, and the number 3 crew is going to have to wait and see if the officials give them a penalty for leaving that tire out in the middle of pit lane. We can be sure, though, as the race goes back to green, the only thing on Jordan Taylor's mind is finding his way by this number 63 Iron Lynx Lamborghini of Jordan Pepper. Jordan Pepper is all over the back of that fellow 42 Lamborghini and is going to look to make a move as they head into turn 1. The 42 Lamborghini is going to stay wide as they go through turn 1. Jordan Taylor is able to sneak up the inside through the exit. They're now too wide heading into the uphill S's. The 42 Lamborghini thinks better of making it too wide and allows Jordan Taylor to breeze past going up the hill. Although that wasn't for class position, it allows Jordan Taylor to stay close to Jordan Pepper, as the 63 Lamborghini now looks to make a move on the number 9 Pfaff Porsche, driven by Patrick Pilet. The Lamborghini is all over the curbs on both sides of the track and on the exit of the corner as well, and sneaks up the inside of Patrick Pilet in that 992 Porsche. That 63 Lamborghini has been so fast all day and is certainly one of the favorites to win this race, as Patrick Pilet now defends from Jordan Taylor as they head into the heel of the boot. Jordan Taylor looks around the outside, but there's just no room there for that number 3 Corvette. He's going to look to the inside. Pilet is going to defend as well there. Again, nowhere for Jordan Taylor to go. He's not going to be that aggressive this early in the race, and he slots in once again behind that number 9 Pfaff Porsche. But if he can't make it through on raw pace, oftentimes traffic can help out as well, and this LMP2 car goes for a late move up the inside of the number 9 Pfaff Porsche. Jordan Taylor's going to get a better run through the entry and on exit, and is going to try to close in the draft of this number 9 Porsche. Going up the hill, we can see that in the draft, the Corvette does have the legs over this 992 Porsche. And as they get to the top of the hill, Jordan Taylor's going to look to the outside and try a little side draft to gain a little bit more speed down the straight. Heading around the outside is super challenging through the chicane though, and the 9 Porsche is going to slot through as the 78 Lamborghini, the pole sitter overall in the GT class, is going to go wide, and Misha Goikhberg is going to leave the door open on the apex, and Jordan Taylor is going to slot through and once again set off to catch this number 9 Pfaff Porsche. However, as the stint went on, Jordan Taylor was called into the pits to serve a drive-through penalty because of that tire that was left on pit lane. And as he drives through, we can look to the left and see all of his GTD and GTD Pro competitors flying by. And as he exits the pits, Jordan Taylor has a huge amount of work to do as he needs to make quick work of passing these GTD cars so he can catch up to his GTD Pro competitors. First on his list is going to be Ashton Harrison in this number 93 Acura, as she gets a little slide coming through the apex of turn 9. This GTD versus GTD Pro racing has a really interesting dynamic because although these passes aren't technically for position, any car that you can hold behind you as a buffer between you and your competitors will help you during the race. I can tell you Jordan Taylor doesn't care about that one bit as he shows his nose to Ashton Harrison. He's going to brake late going into turn 1. She gets hard on the throttle, a little bit of a wiggle on the exit, can't quite get on the power. Jordan Taylor gets a better exit, and he gets an overlap as they head into the uphill S's. Ashton Harrison is going to lift out of the throttle, allowing Jordan Taylor to sneak through. The next GTD car on Jordan Taylor's list is the 023 Triarci Ferrari. And though we haven't seen it yet in this video, these Ferraris were very fast around Watkins Glen. So despite being a lower class, this Ferrari will not be easy for Jordan Taylor to pass. As they head into the heel of the boot, Jordan Taylor's going to look to the inside, and it's a late defense from that Triarci Ferrari, just dissuading Taylor from sending it up the inside. As they head into turn 10, Jordan Taylor's going to have to really think about how he's going to make the move on this 023 car. But the number 44 Magnus car heads into the pits. That's going to hold up the 023 car, and it allows the number 3 Corvette to get a better run onto the front straight, and allows Jordan Taylor to slot past that 296 Ferrari. And Jordan Taylor has already acquired his next target, this number 16 Wright Porsche. Through this left-hander, we see that AM driver just doesn't quite have the confidence that Jordan Taylor does through the mid-corner. Jordan Taylor's going to gain through the exit, looks to the inside. The Wright Porsche is going to cover that off going into the toe of the boot. Jordan Taylor gets a wider run through the corner though, hard on the throttle through the exit, and is able to get the overlap and carry more speed past the number 16 Wright Porsche. This stint has become an absolute feeding frenzy for Jordan Taylor in the number 3 car, and he's going to look to make another pass on the 66 Acura of Sheena Monk. Coming into the tricky turn 9, we see a GTP Cadillac and then Acura come flashing by. Sheena Monk's going to leave the inside open. Jordan Taylor is going to make his way past. But while he's been making quick work of this GTD field, we can jump back aboard the 23 Heart of Racing Aston Martin and see the 62 Ferrari of Daniel Serra go flying past into the bus stop. This 62 Risi Ferrari has been absolutely on fire since the weekend started. And Daniel Serra is going to look up the inside for an aggressive pass on that 42 Lamborghini, making it 2 passes in 2 braking zones for that number 62 Ferrari. He's going to now look to the inside of Rexy up ahead as they head into the heel of the boot, making that 3 passes in the span of 5 corners, and 1 more on his list. Can he make it past the Volt Porsche and make it 4 for 6 passes in corners? Yes, he can. Sends it up the inside of that highlighter yellow Porsche and is able to pass 4 cars in the span of 1 minute. He is closing in quickly on this number 3 Corvette, who is now stuck behind the sister car to the car that we were just on board with. Jordan Taylor now desperate to get past this 27 car, but the Astons also seem to have a lot of speed this weekend. Ian James's exit is slightly compromised coming out of the toe of the boot. Jordan Taylor gets close on the exit, pops out from behind the 27 car, but just doesn't have the speed in a straight line and slots back behind that Aston Martin Vantage GT3. Ian James brakes late into the heel of the boot, and there's just nothing that Jordan Taylor can do to get past this Aston Martin right now. But I want you to watch to the left as we head up the hill into turn 9. You can see this Ricci Ferrari come flying past. Daniel Serra absolutely tearing his way through this GTD and GTD Pro field. Ferrari has had an amazing last couple months with a win in the Nürburgring 24 Hours, which was followed up by a win at the Le Mans 24 Hours. And Daniel Serra is going to look to the inside of Ian James in that 27 Aston Martin, who gets compromised as he has to let an LMP3 past as well. And that's going to allow Jordan Taylor to catch up through the exit. Taylor looks to the inside. Ian James doesn't defend, takes an early apex though. Jordan Taylor's wide through the exit of the corner, hard on the throttle. We get a twitch from that 27 Aston Martin. Jordan Taylor looks to the outside, barely a car's width, but makes it past that Aston Martin and sets his sights on that number 62 Ferrari to try to see if he can stay with Daniel Serra. But as the stint goes on, we can see this Ricci Ferrari slowly pulls away into the distance. And Jordan Taylor has to settle in and wait for the next caution to bunch up the field. And we're going to flash forward to 2.5 hours into the race, because if we look ahead, we can see Andrea Caldarelli in that 63 Lamborghini looking to the inside of a GTD car, but he gets slammed from behind by an LMP3 who collects Ringer van der Zande as well. That 63 Lamborghini, which looked so strong, taken out of the race. And a yellow flag comes out, which will once again bunch up this GTD and GTD Pro field. And as they go back to green flag racing, Antonio Garcia can set his sights on the 23 GTD Pro Aston Martin of Alex Riberas. But Alex in the Aston Martin is stuck behind that 96 GTD Turner BMW. Heading into the bus stop, Riberas is all over the BMW, but just can't find a way by. He's going to look to the inside of the outer loop, but that BMW defends it. Alex Riberas slides, and that allows Antonio Garcia to catch up to this Aston Martin, but he's on the outside heading into a left-hander. There's nowhere for him to go. It's an easy defense for the 23 car, who's going to again try to get a better exit and catch up to this Turner car. Riberas defends to the inside, and Garcia has nowhere to go. This Turner BMW is able to hold Riberas behind and allows Antonio Garcia to stay close to the back of this Aston Martin. Heading into the heel of the boot, Riberas makes his move aggressively up the inside of this BMW, who has to wiggle to avoid him on the exit, compromises his run out of the corner, and allows Garcia to make a move around the outside through turn 9. Unfortunately for this Heart of Racing crew, they are going to have to serve a penalty here with an hour and a half to go in the race, which will effectively take them out of contention. Now, with an hour and a half to go, all that is ahead of Antonio Garcia and this number 3 Corvette are 2 GTD cars and 1 GTD Pro competitor. Heading into the final corner, we see a gaggle of LMP3 cars is going to try to make their way past Jan Halen now as one of them locks up. Going into the final corner, almost got into the back of Jan Halen in that number 16 Wright Porsche, reminiscent of what happened to the 63 Lamborghini. That Wright Porsche is going to have another LMP car to contend with, as the LMP2 this time sends it up the inside into turn 1. The 16 car just doing whatever it can to avoid contact as another LMP2 comes flying past Antonio Garcia and is going to make a move around the outside of Jan Halen as they come through the uphill S's. That 16 Porsche is going to stay to the right-hand side. Jan Halen making his life very easy. There's now just one GTD Lexus separating the number 3 Corvette from the class-leading number 14 GTD Pro Lexus. With just over an hour to go, Antonio Garcia as that BMW gets so close to him on pit lane entry. Antonio Garcia is going to head into the pits for the final pit stop of the race for the number 3 crew. And if we look ahead, we can see the number 14 Lexus in the pits as well. This is the car that the Corvette number 3 crew is chasing down for the win of the race. The number 14 crew just wants a clean pit stop and a clean rest of their race. They have dominated so far in both GTD and GTD Pro, and the only thing that can stop them now is if Jack Hawksworth or his team run into some sort of issue. And that is exactly what the number 3 crew will be hoping for as the Pfaff Porsche goes flying by as Antonio Garcia exits the pit lane. Something anything that will hold up the seemingly unstoppable 14 GTD Pro Vassar Sullivan crew. Just a few laps later, something does happen to the 14 car. Jack Hawksworth has to serve a drive-through penalty and will trundle on the pit lane speed limiter as he tightens his belts. This allows the number 3 car to go flashing by on the main straight. So, as Jack Hawksworth exits the pits and unleashes the V8 power, as he gets a big snap of oversteer, he goes from the hunted to the hunter. And heading into the heel of the boot, one of the Porsche 963s is going to pass Antonio Garcia and lock up, almost collecting the class-leading Corvette. Antonio Garcia not only has to manage his pace and manage his speed, he also has to manage this prototype traffic. Heading into the toe of the boot, another Porsche 963 is going to fly by and look up the inside of Antonio Garcia, gets a snap at the apex as that Porsche is on the limit of grip. Another LMP2 goes flying by. The pressure is on for both the number 14 and the number 3 cars in the GTD Pro class. Hawksworth continues to close the gap on Antonio Garcia, and as they head into turn 9, he's almost within touching distance of this Corvette and of the top step of the podium. As the Corvette kicks up dust coming through the apex, Antonio Garcia pushing this Corvette C8.R to its absolute limit. With just under half an hour to go, Antonio Garcia is going to be late on the brakes into the toe of the boot and loses the car a little bit heading into the apex. Another little wiggle as he comes out of the exit. That Corvette is running out of grip, but Antonio Garcia is pushing as hard as he can. Hawksworth continues to close the gap coming into the heel of the boot and brakes incredibly late up the inside of Antonio Garcia. Antonio's going to be forced wide, loses apex speed, and look to the outside because here comes the 62 Risi Ferrari of Daniel Serra around the outside. Antonio Garcia is going to do everything he can to stay close to these 2 GTD Pro cars because he needs to be ready if there's any slip up, any contact, any issues with these 2 cars ahead. But as the race goes on, the 2 cars pull away. And despite the hard battling between this Risi Ferrari and Vassar Sullivan Lexus, when the caution flag flies for Bill Oberlin's wreck at the end of the race, the number 3 Corvette would come home to finish 3rd. It was a gutsy fight back from the number 3 crew, but ultimately it was a deserved win for Jack Hawksworth and the entire Vassar Sullivan crew, which won not only GTD Pro, but also GTD. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of the support. I love making these videos, and I hope you guys love watching them too. Thank you guys again for all your love and support. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time.